Okay, welcome to the prep stream. So yeah, I have basically played continuously on stream, so I didn't want to break that streak. Therefore, today it's basically this stream has nothing interesting gameplay-wise. What I will do is I will get all my movesets ready for the E4. I will talk over my team finding process. We will talk over the entire box, which ones were great, which ones were shit. All of that stuff that some people do before the E4. Then I will take a short break, roughly in 1 hour. We will jump into the E4. So let me also get out the frag sheet. Okay, and then yeah, the sketch orders I think kinda effed up. Doesn't matter. Let's look at our dead bonds. So we had I don't know, this is not even bad Butterfree, but not great. This Butterfree was Elite Sec into Bugsy. Yeah. Think not much more to say. Was a pretty fun one for sacrifice. It ended up with a total of 14 frags, which is pretty good if you look at like combined Falkner plus Bugsy split, averaging 7 frags. Not bad, but yeah, nothing amazing. Next sacrifice was Seeking. Actually, motor drive plus speed, but 0 attack. I personally think, especially if you run Gator and you already have strong physical water type mon, no reason to like guard this Pokemon too much. Of course, motor drive can get value in a lot of fights. It's also nice into Wake, where you can get like big waterfalls after getting hit by electric, but motor drive Seeking with plug cut waterfall Aqua Jet. I mean, Aqua Jet I think is not really needed. But the other 3 moves is like one of the best mounts into Whitney, because you can come in on T-Bolt after the Kingler opening, always beat Giraffe, then either get massive damage on Corsola or kill it. And if you manage to kill Corsola, which is still very likely, you get to pluck the Citrus Berry from Togekiss and also make that matchup a lot better. All in all, really, really solid mon. For Whitney, afterwards, probably still could have gotten value, but I mean, it's a fine sacrifice to get out of early game. 14 frags, no, 13 frags, and lived for 3 splits, so worse average than Butterfree. Next sacrifice, and now we take a big, big jump, was Love Disc. And this was sacked against Anorith in Chuck's gym. Basically, I couldn't stall out Anorith with Kingler because I still needed HP for other stuff. And I had a strong line, but I needed some tempo. I needed a sacrifice, and Anorith came in. And actually, I can't remember if it was guaranteed or if we got lucky. But actually, Love Disc also took down Anorith in Chuck's gym fight, ending up with 14 frags as well. So early game, like we had like the score of like all these mons died with a similar amount of frags, which makes me feel like we got value out of all of those. Next sacrifice, we take another big jump, which honestly, that's pretty good. Like our Jasmine split was just so powerful that we didn't have any losses. We hit the next split. We go through all the back-to-backs. We have plus defense, minus special defense, magnet pull, magnet zone. I personally never really understood the magnet zone hype train. Like maybe levitate. I'm sure levitate makes a huge difference because then you like hard counter just like certain mons that cover this steel electric typing with earthquake. But mostly I just couldn't really understand why people hype it. It wasn't that great for me. And the sacrifice still was really sad because I just giga misplayed it. Can't say anything besides that. Um, I basically had to stall. What was it like? Outrage, I think, and like the plan was just bad. And it was a bit sad because like I had such solid back-to-backs, and then this was the Kangaskhan mobile grunt after the last back-to-back. And I honestly think that after the back-to-backs, difficulty goes a bit down. And I think I relaxed a bit too much after that. I was like, okay, back-to-backs are over, now we can chill a bit. And immediately next fight, bad plan, like plan just was not working and we lose Magnezone. Ending up with 11 kills. Yeah, you can see from the kill count, not very impactful. Next death, we take another big jump. Is Jumpluff, who died in the petrol fight. Jumpluff was not a planned sacrifice. Petrol 2, I had a very cool plan, but I had a mistake. Basically, I thought that Medicham had a double overflow in its kill, in its phase 2 switch AI from Explosion from Wailord. That was a mistake. It was not double overflow by 1. It was 511 damage. And I thought it's 255 minus 255, but that was wrong. It's 255 minus 256. So if you know how overflow works now, it basically saw no overflow by 1 damage. This meant that Absol was in the back, and there was a huge problem because I'm not really prepared for Absol. If Medicham could not chain it, and to chain Absol, I needed a speed boost on Medicham. So yeah, pretty big drama for me. I had to find a sacrifice. Jumpluff did a great job in that fight because it was plus speed, and it could basically win against Sceptile due to like U-turn, fly stuff, and being able to switch into Leaf Storm. But here it ended for this mon. Next sacrifice, Cloyster. This mon is, in my opinion, with skill link not very good. It basically came to no fight besides the fight that I did. And that fight was also Petrol 2. In comparison to Jumpluff, Cloyster was a planned sacrifice. Water Spout has a really cool like AI thingy where it doesn't attack resisted mons. Water Spout is the highest damage against my plus defense minus special defense Cloyster. But because it's resisted, it's negative. That meant that basically Wailord couldn't go for its highest damage move, and I always win the 1v1 with my own explosion. My line basically had to accept early Wailord, and Quick Claw explosion, of course, early on means you have to sacrifice something. And in my situation, I like decided to sacrifice this Cloyster because like the matchup was really good. Cloyster ended up taking 1 kill before it died, and that was the Wailord. So next death, same split. Claire's land split had a lot of deaths. Next split was Gyarados. This was the second big planning mistake. Like the third death to planning overall, because Jumpluff also died to planning. But like this overflow thing, I just didn't knew that. It was like a knowledge mistake. While Magnezone and Gyarados just died to me having bad plans. In this case, it was about the back-to-back in the gym of Claire. And I basically forgot to plan for the final Pokemon. And suddenly, Blastoise switched in, and all my Pokemon were low because in my head I was already finished with the fight. That was like a case of I planned back and forth so much that I ended up forgetting about it. Yeah, let's talk about this Gyarados. It's not great. I never had a story of like good performances with Gyarados overall. This is minus attack, plus special attack, low speed, low everything. It was not the worst loss in that fight. Basically, I decided that I potentially lose Gyarados. I switched it in. I got crit. Yeah. So that's how Gyarados fell down. I mean, Intim is a nice ability. Like Gyarados still gets value even with this like suboptimal nature plus bad IVs. But overall, it ended up with 5 frags before it went down. By the way, I think from the mons that died, Butterfree by far the best average kills. But of course, Butterfree also had like 2 splits where it's like an amazing Pokemon. Then we lost Kabutops against Claire and Lance. This was just a planned sacrifice. There was actually a mistake in the Claire and Lance plan, but I didn't get punished. And yeah, I just missed a bit of tempo because I didn't have any good ice types. And Kabutops brought that tempo for me, sacrificing it, basically allowing me to safely win the fight, besides the oversight that we had. Kabutops is like the first mon that I had to sacrifice that in my opinion was really good. Kabuto, actually MVP of Falkner Split. And this is really cool. I realized I had another run that died pretty early. But in both runs, early game, I had a Kabuto. Both runs, early game, Kabuto had the most frags. Like Battle Armor plus Rock typing with 2 solid moves with Accelerock and Rock Slide. Basically makes this one of the best mons early on because like resisting like Rock type is like pretty unique typing early on. Even now in late game, I don't have many Rock types. So yeah, amazing Pokemon, did a lot of stuff early. In the mid and late game, kind of fell off, still did something here and there. And in the end, I decided Claire and Lance is the final fight for it. It ends up before the E4 on number 5 of total frags. Having most frags in a split, And yeah, overall on 8 splits, 37. I mean, worse average than Butterfree, but having this consistency over so many splits, of course, great. Next death was Morvile. This Pokemon was lost to Steven. I forgot to teach a move. Basically made a really nice Steven line into a really ugly one. And in the end, I realized, okay, I needed to sacrifice something for tempo. Even afterwards, it wasn't great. Forgetting to teach moves this run, or like forgetting to level up mons, was a huge thing. So I think it was fair that I got punished a bit, and Mobile Death didn't set us back a lot. It maybe had like value remaining in the 12v12, but we found a different line for that. So yeah. Morvile, probably one of the surprises of the run. Why? Because I always thought that the move pool is kinda bad, so Morvile will fall off. But that wasn't the case at all this run. I mean, you can see my Morvile is above average, minus defense, besides HP, everything like roughly at 20 IVs. So you can definitely have a better Morvile, but it's fine. And having a strong Sucker Punch, very powerful fighting type, very powerful Iron move, or no, Steel move. Especially the Steel move is like very unique. You don't have a lot of strong physical Steel attackers, and that gets a lot of value in Rocket Hideout for like Sucker Punch, Steel move stuff. So yeah, you could actually also see Mobile early on, got a frag here and there, and then Price split 9 frags. Even afterwards carried on a bit, and it probably had one of the coolest lines in the entire Nuzlocke. In Radio Tower, Rival, the opening is Gengar. Gengar's highest damage against Morvile is Thunderbolt. You can switch into Motor Drive Minon, which baits Sludge Bomb. You baton pass your +1 speed into Morvile, which then again baits Thunderbolt, and you baton pass back. Basically, on the Rival, I played with infinite speed, and Morvile with Sucker Punch can also kill the Gengar. Actually, if I would have went 57 for that fight, Morvile, out of the opening, would have chain killed 5 Pokemon, which has to be like one of the craziest stuffs. And you can baton +6 on the Meganium. Like just crazy value in that fight, together with Minen, which is the one we will talk about later. Yeah, then we had Scissor, basically just a sacrifice in the 12v12. Yeah, I think not much to say. I think the 12v12 was relatively clean. And at some point I was like, okay, it's over leveled anyways because I edged all 6 mons that went to the 12v12. I was like, fine, we can sacrifice them here. That probably guarantees us a win. We have over-leveled Crawdont. This was sacrificed in the Cynthia fight. It led into Spiritomb, and yeah, Waterfall. No, knockoff into knockoff was enough to always kill that. We have Cast Form, also sacrificed in the Cynthia fight very recently. Let me quickly wait. I forgot to talk about the performances of these months. Like Scissor basically did not a lot because it was catched on the final few fights, and then it basically just came to the 12v12. Crawdon actually finished with 9 kills. I think this is decent. Like, battle armor on this mod, in my opinion, is better. Or maybe if you have like really crazy IVs, you can also get stuff done with this, but here and there, like a heavy hitter can help. Overall, not the most amazing Pokemon, in my opinion. Cast Form actually also ended up on 9 kills. This hated a lot. I think we got value out of this mon when it was possible. It was also a potential sacrifice against Petrol 1. Basically, it made the entire line possible, and then we had like to face Tropius and Cast Form. In my opinion, actually, it's not great. It's always a potential sacrifice, but it's a really good potential sacrifice because you can hit a lot of like normal typing means that Cast Form can take like pretty much anything and survive it. If it's not a crit, and it's pretty fast and has decent special attack and great coverage. So basically Cast Form is like a Joker sacrifice because it normally gets off one hit before it dies. Or it can maybe even win some 1v1s if you get lucky. And this was the way we used it, and I think it's not strong, but I think it did a decent job. Now, the mons down here are not dead. These mons here actually are just over leveled. Pelipper was brought to the 12v12 as lead to bait Thunderbolt. Let me check, where's my Pelipper? Here. It got 4 frags over the entire run. Probably the highlight was it was the opening against Giovanni, having a U-turn strategy where we basically baton pass +1 speed with Minon on EQ or Earth Power. And I can basically U-turn back into Minon with a +1 and repeat this and chip it into Minon range. Probably the coolest play for Pelipper, also found value in some other fights like Wake, but never got the kills, more of a support mon. Gliscor, Poison Heal, this thing came to the 12v12 and basically demolished everything. Gliscor was the active mon for me during 7 frags in the 12v12 of the 12. I think that already tells you guys enough. Like, it can come in on stuff, it can kill stuff. Poison Heal so tanky. I always brought this with Hyper Cutter and sacrificed it in the fight in my previous runs. This time I had Poison Heal, was even better in the 12v12. Blastoise. Blastoise is a cool mon. It ended up with 12 frags, which is probably less than it actually deserved. I got a late Blastoise, so Mirror Coat wasn't. I didn't get Mirror Coat. I had to scale it, and in the late game I replaced it with scaled Muddy Water because that was better for the 12v12, where it also over leveled after getting decent value. Blastoise is like such a crazy typing with battle armor. Can switch into so much stuff. Mirror Coat kills so much stuff. Fake out ship, then switch into something else on a good pivot. Like every time where you are like in a situation, you have a mon that is like very good and can maybe take like 1 or 2 frags, but then you bait random move. And I call that we need like a reset. We need a mon that comes in, can take every move, and then only baits a single move, no matter what move the opponent clicked. And Blastoise is the guy that does exactly that. Like, Blastoise can often come in on mons take every move, bait only a single move, switch out, and basically get your line back into a single branch where you have the ability to plan for everything. So this one, let's mark it green because it was probably better than what the fact sheet tells us. Raichu, this came to the Cynthia fight. It was actually planned as a sacrifice, but somehow survived. Minus special attack, 5 special attack IVs, not great speed. I wouldn't say this was great. We scaled Encore on it and then forgot it during the fight where we sacrificed it. It got value here and there. I would say it was okay, but not great. Then we have this Frostless. Look at these IVs. This thing actually got 5 kills, which is crazy to me that even with these IVs you get any frags at all. It came to Claire and Lens, but it couldn't do like sometimes you see an ice type just basically demolishing the entire fight, while the other slot baits kills. That's not possible with this Frostless. Speed was actually fine, funny enough, but the problem was special attack was not enough to take a lot of kills, so we had to sacrifice, and Frostless only came in later and then cleaned up some very specific kills. So still useless even with these IVs. And then it did some stuff against Cynthia and maybe also another fight in the E4 split. Yeah. It was okay. Now, yeah. I can quickly talk about Charizard. This never was used to calculate any fights in the entire run. Actually decent IVs, but came too late. I already had my E4 planned and it couldn't find value against Cynthia, and therefore Charizard never saw the battlefield. Next really bad one, Mamoswine. Look at these IVs. 0 speed apparently is just a death sentiment for this guy. With 0 speed, didn't get any value from this. I feel like we are spending a lot of time, so I will speed up a bit. Houndoom, catched late, found value in one find, not much more. Fortress, busted IVs, but stalling I think is, in most fights they don't stall, so not a lot of value either. Tyranitar, really cool Enigma Berry value in the back-to-back-to-back in Victory Road, where Confuse Ray is only clicked if I'm above half HP. And I could guarantee that I'm below half HP, but I couldn't survive Giga Drain into Head Smash Recoil to kill Crobat. So I went Enigma Berry, which triggered on Giga Drain and gave me enough HP to survive Recoil. And I couldn't have went Citrus Berry, because then it could have clicked Confuse Ray. That was probably my all-time favorite Enigma Berry use case. Yeah. So that's about Tyranitar. Kingdra, a bit disappointing, basically didn't do much. I was hyped, maybe get value out of it. The Draco Meteor killed two people in Claire's gym, then no more value. Tentacruel. Yeah, these IVs aren't great. It was a potential sacrifice during Wake, but won it 1v1 against Ludicolo. It later on got a frag, and I can't remember exactly in which fight. It's a Stormon, but we had a few of those, and Pelipper was often just better, or we didn't have to stall at all. Jan Mega, I'm pretty disappointed by this. This lost detect, and basically that meant that it's actually in a really bad speed tier. I don't outspeed stuff with this. I mean, this is neutral 19 speed. It's not bad, but apparently not enough. Very low special attack also meant that I can't get a lot of KOs. We don't get early Draco Meteor. Honestly, this thing didn't cut it. We can see I'm going upwards by the amount of kills Mons got, and Jan Mega finished on 3 kills before the E4. Crazy bad. Next is Mug, decent stalling mon, has value against Argenta. I don't know, has value against this one fight. But we got flinched from U-turn into a King's Rock mon, which I didn't even know was possible. And that made the line a lot worse. Yeah, 3 frags overall. I think that's like the frags you will see for the stalling mons. We had Flareon. This Eevee had insane IVs, plus speed, only low attack. It was like the ideal Jolteon. But in the end, I didn't find a way to fit Jolteon. I never needed Glaceon. It was potential Espeon during the Chuck fight, but I decided to sacrifice Lufdisk over basically overusing our evolution and committing on one. And in the end, I was like, okay, let's evolve it for the leftovers fight because there it could get value. It took 3 kills. Even took 4 kills. So that was fine. Next one, Knocked Owl, also on 4 kills. Minus speed, really bad for this mon because you don't outspeed stuff any longer. When it was able to outspeed stuff, actually like one of the most powerful attackers in my box. Also high special attack IVs. Ended up being really good into the leftovers fight as well, because it has probably one of the craziest calcs in the game. I have to show this once. Let me remove this. Empoleon, Knocked Owl. This is straight up 74% into Empoleon, which is a steel type and resists psychic. That's crazy to me. Okay, next mon, Walrein. I think everybody who has a Walrein knows that it gets decent value in some fights. Perish Song is like a very nice tool plus rest. Not much value elsewhere. Firo, of course, a great mon into price. Ended up taking 5 kills. I think like with Morvile, Gator already being strong Sucker Punch users, and Crobat being a good flying type, this probably could have gotten more action. It was minus attack, which didn't help, but otherwise IVs are pretty nice. Ended up on 5 kills, probably a bit better than it finished. Next we have Scarberry on 6 kills. Yeah, Clear Body Skarmory was a big disappointment. Basically, not really getting any stalling value out of this. It always it has some good matchups against Sceptiles, where you are resisted to Fake Out, resist Dragon moves and Grass moves, and you hit back for super effective. Otherwise, mostly a bad Pokemon. Not getting a lot of value out of this one. Hitmontop, 6 frags. Got this pretty late. It actually had great value in the first 12v12. Didn't do much more otherwise. Next one is Tank Rose. This was just a disappointing. It has 7 frags, but I think all these 5 frags and price split happened against the trainers before the rocket section. And these trainers are honestly pretty easy. Just like you cannot be asleep for them, but basically everything else is fine. Yeah, pretty much no value from this guy. Gliscor we talked about, so then next is Solrock. Solrock, let's give this guy green. Actually, IVs are not even great. Like low defense, okay, very great HP, decent speed, but low attack. Actually, first time I got this thing was Levitate, and I was surprised it actually got a lot of value. Because the ability to be a levitating rock type apparently is like really effing great. So much stalling value, so much unique stalling value. Came to some really cool fights, ended up with 8 kills. But really deserves a bit more. Like it came to the Petrol 1 fight, where it switched in onto the lead Pidgeot on wing attack with like a very clear bait and just like tanking that shit like crazy. And later on, it was a potential switch in on Wailord, where basically we stopped dive from being clicked by having a protect move on the previous mon. And again, Solrock, this can switch into Ice Beam, and I think the alternative is Hyper Voice. Always baited the dive kill, basically set us up perfectly. Really happy with this mon. Next one is Executor. This has 8 frags. I feeded it a lot in the E4 split. Here and there, like with these IVs, here and there you can find a Leaf Storm kill. Not much more. Lunatone, pretty big disappointment, honestly. I thought like these IVs are crazy and I have to get value from this. Like nearly max special attack. It immediately demolished Morty. And afterwards it kind of vanished. Like I think with Levitate, this would have probably been any 4 bring, maybe one of the best mons in my box. But without Levitate, apparently this is, even with these IVs, not great. Finished on 9 kills. Next is Togekiss. And this has 9 kills as well. And this is honestly where it belongs. But look at these IVs. The fact that Togekiss with these IVs gets 9 frags. And these frags are partly against very, very important fights. Like we are talking Petrol 1. We are talking the first radio tower grunt, which actually was maybe the most difficult grunt in the entire tower for me. Like I couldn't find the riskless line. And in the end, it was solved by Solrock being crazy resistant into Charizard and Togekiss basically taking 2 frags in the back due to being able to bait ground move into Encore. Overall, positively surprised by this one. I won't give it the green color because I think with these IVs, 9 frags is a lot. Yeah. Next is Floatzel. Finished on 12 frags. This wasn't Technician. Minus special attack. Doesn't really matter. High attack. Here and there could take a kill. Nothing amazing, nothing bad. Just a fine one. Oh, apparently I broke the order somewhere up there. Okay. Next Pokemon Golduck. These IVs were just memeing on me. Like great defense, great attack, no special attack, worst speed ever. Speed is kinda important on this guy. So it got value here and there. You can see like highest frags in a single split was 3. I think it was a potential sacrifice against Riley. I can't remember. But it's like good into the weather fights due to Cloud9. It actually had crazy value in the prize fight. This was actually the MVP of the prize fight due to Cloud9. Also the first time I was running a Cloud9 spread on prize. That was probably really cool about this mon. Otherwise, not much. Next is minus speed Mismagius. Yeah. In the late game it found some value. Was good in the radio tower boss fights. But it's a bit slow. Of course, Parish Song and a strong psychic type attacker with like at least like still decent speed. Can get value here and there with a Ghost Levitate. 12 frags, probably a bit worse than you would expect from a levitating ghost. Next is Lantern. This is another one of these like really solid mons. Like 13 frags. Just like in a lot of fights, this can come in on a water move, take a hit, and Volt Switch out. Also great into Petrol 1, because with Lagging Tail you can come in on dive. You bait dive, you switch into Lantern, you slow Volt Switch after the dive comes up and doesn't do any damage into your mon that baits dive again, and that basically allows early Quick Claw Explosion Wailord. That's pretty nice, probably its highlight. Otherwise, just a lot of decent value. Now we make a big jump to Donphan. I will give this the green. Donphan was amazing. Somehow in my head I was like, this Pokemon had bad IVs. Like I don't know where the thought came from. But then one day I looked at the IVs and it's like freaking amazing. Like high special defense, decent defense, high attack, decent HP, battle armor. In Radio Tower and Rocket Hideout, this is just like such a good mon. Comes in on a lot of stuff and just brute force kills stuffs. That's like really difficult to handle otherwise. Next is Starmie. Look at these IVs. I mean, it could have been better with high special attack, but in Radio Tower, this was really amazing, taking a lot of kills also in Claire's and Lance Gym. Super fast, super high attack. Like, of course, like not high special attack IVs, but positive nature onto a strong special attacker already. Made for a nice combo. This finished pretty high. This is top 15, right? Yeah, I think this is a deserved position for this mon. But this is like the breaking point. Afterwards, I think we start to talk about amazing Pokemon. This is still just like very solid. Next on the list is Makago. Slugma is really good early on. Took 7 kills in Falkner Split. We are back to Kabuto talking about that rock resistance. And then late game, not doing much, but of course, well, 4 kills in Jasmine fight, as it's usually the case. Just such a strong mon in that fight. Next is Quagsire. Water Absorb Quagsire plus defense. MVP of the Buxy split, and overall just like a really solid mon. In late game, of course, kinda falls off, especially if you have other water absorb mons. And it also has this problem where it's only neutral to water. So sometimes you bait random move if the water attack is highest damage. But value was fine. Next is Chimecho. Yeah, just like very, very good in Whitney and Morty split. I got this super early on in Falkner split. Later on, also able to get value, levitating steel. Mine was sadly minus special defense plus speed. Probably not the best nature and low special attack, but a solid mon. Next is Duck Trio. Even with like not the best attack and speed IVs, this thing is like going crazy into Rocket Hideout. Like think about the fact that this like basically in Jasmine split, I had every fight planned when I catched it. So no chance to get a split there. And then afterwards it goes 8 frags, 7 frags, 9 frags, actually a higher average on the splits where it had chances to be played than Butterfree. Very, very nice mon. Next we have Cacturn. Early Dark type and later on strong Leaf Storm and Sucker Punch. Decent IVs. Just a really solid mon ending up on 25 kills. Luxray is just really early game goating. Wait, wrong mon. And mine was guts, but really bad IVs. Like plus attack, great. Minus speed, suddenly not really usable. Like here in the back it falls off, still finishes on 30 frags. So yeah, fine. Next is Kingler. And yeah, Kingler is just a great, like one of the really solid mons. And especially in Price and Claire and Lance, as like Donphan, just finds like a lot of like hard switch ins and kill stuff, like very cool move pool. You get like so much coverage, you get strength, you get rock slide, you get rock tube, you get dig, you have water moves. You just basically cover anything and a lot of good kills. IVs for mine, not even great, can be much better, finishing on 30 frags. Then we have Motor Drive Minon with really nice IVs. This was the MVP of Jasmine split, taking 5 on Wake with Thunder, which it gets at the level cap, and then it also got 2 kills on Giovanni. This has to be like my favorite Pokemon of the run, actually. Because Motor Drive Baton Pass got so much cool value. I tried to get this into my 4 team, but I couldn't make it work by small margins. Really like this mon finishing on 38 frags. And closely after we have Medicham plus attack, but sadly minus speed. I think speed, if this would have been faster, probably would have been even better, which is a crazy thing to say because it ended up on 39 frags. just a lot of like, it was a very, very strong combination with Minon. Like Baton Pass into Medicham, Baton Pass into Morvile, Baton Pass into Togekiss and Encore. Minon had so many strong partners with Baton Pass, which made it so cool. But Baton Pass into Medicham often sets up a sweep where you take like 3 to 4 kills. Like you come in on the electric move on a chip mon, you finish it off, next mon comes in. This mon like either baits ground or it often baits fighting. So you can either Baton Pass into your Togekiss or you can go into your Medicham, and Medicham with plus attack and these IVs just rips stuff left and right. If this would have not been minus speed, probably any Formon. And now, of course, we have like the goats. Like, look at these IVs. I think we don't need to talk more about Crobat and GMO for Relegator, obviously. 20 Claire and Lance kills, 19 E4 kills. In my opinion, for Relegator, the best one in the game. At least from the starters. Maybe they're like, maybe Fortress or something like that is better. But yeah, such a good mon. So yeah, well, that's the entire box, every mon that we catch during this fight. Also, realize the gap between number 3. There's like a 13 frag jump to Crobat, and then there's a 30 frag jump to Feraligatr. In the last 2 splits, Feraligatr got as many kills as the mon in 3rd place. Man, just crazy. And I already revealed the E4 team here. Crobat, Feraligatr, Executor. Fortress, Yanmega, Donphan. Some people might be surprised by these guys, but yeah, especially like Executor Yanmega, not your normal E4 bring. But we found the value for these guys. If you don't want to be spoiled on my E4, you should probably switch off now, because I will get a lot of prep done. I don't think we really need Raspberry and Donphan, but it's fine. And we need silver powder here. And I like to get some of the items I will use later on already to the file, to the correct page. We actually don't need a lot of items for this fight. Okay. Let's get the movesets correct. This needs haze. Overheat wave. For Relegator, let's get the correct move order. And we need rest over Aqua Tail. Earthquake over rest. Uh, Rest on Fortress over Buckbus. Payback on Fortress over Rapid Spin. Get the correct move order here. I have Perish Song in this slot. Buckbus here. Mm. And we teach Quick Attack over Draco Meteor. Okay. Those are the sets. Mm. 2 PP ups. Where are my PP maxes? 3 PP max. Okay. Fortress, PP max protect. PP Max rests. We don't need pre-damage. We just need pre-sleep and edge to 70. Now theoretically we cannot pre-sleep against Tanglers and then get here. So we need to wake up one guy, which is Crobat. Okay. "30-minute break for me to calm down, go over the line one final time, and then we will send it. Thank you guys for watching, and I see you around in half an hour.